Consider this an epic part 2 to my previous video about bags I no longer want after finally seeing them in person. If I keep this up, I swear I'm not going to have much of a bag wish list left, and maybe though that's not the worst thing for my bank account. Welcome back to A Briefcase of Luxury, where we love to chat about all things related to life, learning, and luxury. While I have no intentions of quitting my day job as a business professor, I would love to grow this channel. So thank you to those of you who have subscribed, liked, commented, or shared my videos in the past. And thank you even more so for watching this video today. I just recently returned from a work trip to Istanbul, and that place is wild. I'll have another video coming soon about my real designer shopping experience there, as well as my experience with the not so real side. Istanbul is the capital of designer replicas. We're talking handbags, watches, jewelry, you name it. I have never experienced anything like that before. And while I can't say I've changed my moral stance on replica products, counterfeits, really, like let's not sugarcoat things here, I definitely have some new opinions. So stay tuned for my next video where I will be sharing with you my experience with replica designer shopping. I mean, you really can't avoid it in Istanbul. It's everywhere. But today we're purely talking about the real stuff. So as someone who does not live near designer boutiques and has to solely rely on shopping online, I get revved up when I know I am going to be in an area where I can shop in person. And while yes, this was a work trip, which meant unfortunately I had to work, I'm pretty sure more effort was spent on strategizing my spare time shopping plans than on the actual work I did while I was there. So what I'm going to do is just walk you through all the stores I visited and everything I went in looking for, and what all has been booted off or in some cases added to my handbag wish list. I was a little better this time around about taking photos and videos, so we're getting there, y'all, slowly but surely. Let's start off nice and easy with Coach. So while Coach is one of the few stores I do have access to, I just haven't been since midsummer-ish. So knowing that there was going to be a Coach store inside of the airport I was flying out of, needless to say, I had to see what the fuss was about with their newer releases. I gotta hand it to them. They have had viral after viral hits recently, haven't they? So I finally saw the Hermes Evelyn lookalike, which in all honesty isn't bad. In fact, it's probably more functional than the actual Evelyn because Coach was smart enough to add a top zip to the main body of the bag and a turn lock closure to the front pocket. So talk about making it functionally better. I also saw some of their new fringe bags, and honestly, I think those would have been so much better without the mangy mess on the bottom. A little boring perhaps, but still, I just can't get on board with anything fringe in general. Now, I did finally get to try on the tabby in the new Hot It chocolate brown color, and this one was a disappointment, to be honest. I mean, it looked better on the shelf than on my body. You know how it is, right? Like you can't quite put your finger on what the issue is other than just knowing it's not meant for you. On the other hand, it was the opposite with the Coach Swing Zip. I was not impressed when I first saw it online, even on the shelf. And if I didn't have time to kill, I wouldn't have bothered trying it on. But man, it's a very comfortable shoulder bag. So I definitely get the hype here. And I think the longer strap drop makes it the perfect shoulder bag going into the fall winter months. Back to another one that was underwhelming. The Brooklyn bag was one that I was just not impressed with, both when I first saw it online and even more so when I saw it in person. I tried on all 3 sizes that they had in store. The largest looked ridiculous on me, and the smallest was too small to wear comfortably over the shoulder, yet the handles were too droopy to look good as a top handle bag, so it would solely have to be a crook of the arm type bag. I would say though that the medium size was the most normal looking one of the bunch, but at the end of the day, it was still an underwhelming, kind of flimsy shoulder hobo bag, so that was an easy pass for me. And of course, how can we not talk about the Empire carryall? They only had the smallest version available, and I mean, it's all right, but really there's nothing spectacular going on in my opinion. Like, I just really don't get the hype here, besides this being a more accessible dupe for the Margot maybe. And maybe it's because the Margot has never been a viral bag that I've fully understood. Maybe these are just like residual feelings here. But I am curious to see how soon before you start finding these for pennies on the pre-loved market. That would be my prediction at least. Plus, look at the giant dent in the leather on the white one that I'm trying on. I mean, yeah, the Empire Carryall looks like it's meant to be a really hardy bag, but yeah, this isn't inspiring confidence at all. So yeah, I'm happy to have killed some time waiting for my next flight, but happy to have walked away empty-handed as well. Now, the only thing that really caught my eye was this little coin pouch card holder keychain combo deal. This almost makes me wonder why I still have the Louis Vuitton Recto Verso wallet on my wish list when this is just $75 and made of real leather. On one of my layovers in London, I got a chance to pop into Harrods where I saw this really unique DeMellier Vancouver bag made of a snake embossed calfskin. But I was really there to check out Longchamp. Now, I've been low-key wanting to see the Energy Le Pliage bag in person, and I had made a deal with my husband that if they had it in the nude and black, in the extra small size, that I was going to get it, even though I had yet to see it in person when I came to that conclusion. But of course, they didn't have it in the extra small. They did have it in the small, which was too big for what I wanted to use it for, which was while traveling. But even trying on the extra small in the other colors, I'm still on the fence because while I do love my Le Pliage totes that I use for work and for travel, I just don't have a smaller size of the Le Pliage. And the flap, I think that flap might just drive me crazy because it's like right there. It's always in the way. Let me know if I'm being overly dramatic if you have the XS size. On the bright side, I did get to see their mini new Speedy type bags, and I do quite like them since they seem to be on the slimmer side compared to the typical Speedy. I also noticed that they have a few new bags in suede, and I think the shade of brown that they have chosen is absolutely beautiful. Still in Harrods, I also stopped by their little Mulberry section, and they had this stunning Bayswater in a shade of like fire engine lipstick red that just blew me away. And I'm not a red type of girl at all. I also finally got to see one of their newer bag styles called the Lana, I think, with the melted looking postman lock. And the forest shade of green with the gold hardware just was such a beautiful, warm, cozy combo. Now, in terms of Dior, I had thought about trying on the new saddlebag again, but like, for one thing, the store was completely empty and it felt like the Dior magic had left, you know, to the point where I didn't even feel like sticking around long enough to ask to try on the bag. I just snapped a picture of their wall and left. It was quite sad, really. I also didn't spend a whole lot of time in Cartier because they didn't have the Trinity bag in stock, nor did they have the Panthère card holder I was wanting to see. But one thing that did catch my eye was this sequined micro bag. I'm typically not drawn to blingy things like this, but on that day I could not take my eyes off of that micro bag. I ended up going to 2 Chanel stores on this trip, once in the Heathrow airport and once while in Istanbul, and both times the stores were blissfully empty, and because of that I got to shamelessly try on a bunch of their new season bags. I looked at their card holders again like I always do, and I also looked at their new wallet on chains in the new caramel color, in caviar and in lambskin. The one in lambskin had the actual turn lock closure, but let's be real, I hardly reach for my wallet on chain in beige clair as is, so I don't need to add another in a similar color. I also tried on this new mini square with the top handle, and I quite liked it, but again, I can probably find something similar but vintage for a better price pre-loved. Next, let's see, I tried on the small classic flap in caviar in the seasonal dark brown shade that they have. And I liked it a lot better than the Coach Tabby, but who's buying classic flaps these days? And let's see, the last 2 bags were so depressing. So at first glance, I absolutely loved the mini and small seasonal flap with the non-quilted caviar leather. Like from a distance, both my husband and I thought it looked like stingray. Like it had such a beautiful glisten to it. But up close, oh my gosh, the flaps on both the bags were horrendously wonky and warped. Like it was laughable. It's not looking super dramatic in the pictures, but trust me, it felt like a not so funny joke because these bags were insanely expensive. And if it weren't for how bad the flap looked, I would pick this over a regular classic flap hands down any day. Like I would have left the store with it. I liked the concept of it so much, but I was just completely appalled by how the flap looked. Next, let's talk about Louis Vuitton. I think the Louis Vuitton in Istanbul, the one that we went to at least, had some of the chillest sales associates we've ever met. As in, they didn't hound us, they just kind of let us do our thing. It was a super peaceful, stress-free shopping experience. And like, I didn't feel weird snapping a picture every now and then either. I wanted to see the inside out Neverfulls, but they were sold out of them at that time. But I did finally get to try on the original Neverfull BB, a day late and a dollar short for sure. Now, if Louis Vuitton can take the shoulder strap and the handle from the inside out version and replace the canvas strap and vachetta handle on the original BB, we'd have a winner, since the new inside out doesn't have a zip top closure, but the original one did. And in that sense, I also liked it more than the Longchamp Le Pliage Energy version that I was wanting to get, because it's just a clean, simple zipper with no extra flap. So fingers crossed they have another Neverfull BB ready and waiting to be launched. Along those lines, we did step in a Gucci at some point and saw something similar, but that one didn't have a top zip either. So yeah, I wasn't interested. Let's see what else. They had a stunning hot pink mini / micro steamer or locket bag on display, as well as this beautiful capucines with this metal detailing. And I finally got to see the Pochette Métis in the caramel brown color, which really is beautiful. I'll give him that. And this iridescent alligator mini keep all in the men's section. So yeah, we just saw and played around with a whole bunch of bags. We were the only ones in there for the most part. So yeah, I got to try on bag after bag after bag. Now, I did come across this new bag, or at least new to me, bag in the men's section that I didn't know about before. And it's like a men's wallet on chain, but the leather, my gosh, that leather felt amazing. And I bet it would actually crossbody quite nicely. The strap, however, is a bit on the thicker side since it is a men's wallet on chain, but overall, we had a good time. I had thought about getting something little just to get it hot stamped while we were there, but I decided against it in the end since I may or may not have bought some other things along the way that I will be unboxing soon. We also decided to go into Prada, and I've made a recent-ish video about Prada, and I still stand by what I said. I'm not sure what's going on with their design team, but they seem very trend reactive. Like, they now have all of these random bag charms, for one thing, like teddy bag charms, micro bag charms, charms that look like a second-grade art project with leftover nuts and bolts and zippers and just junk, really. And they have recently released a bag that looks like their take of the Balenciaga Rodeo bag. So, I mean, they were just kind of all over the place. Now, the only bag I was somewhat happy with was the one style that looked like the Hermes Lindy, which I've talked about previously, and I still stand by that as well. I actually like the Prada version way more than the Hermes Lindy. Loewe was the other store that I was super excited to check out. Now, while I don't think they had Loewe in Istanbul proper, like in the city, they did have it in the airport. And I made a specific stop to try on the new puzzle pouch. I don't think I've mentioned this on my channel yet, but yeah, I came across this on both the Loewe and the 24S websites for wildly different prices, by the way. And I just loved the concept of it because I originally was interested in the mini puzzle tote, but the deal breaker on that bag was that it didn't have a top zipper. So I was so thrilled when they had this in stock and I finally got to try it on for the first time. Now, for one thing, it's a lot smaller in person. And once you start putting things in it, it's not going to do that cute little dip that it has while it's empty. So that was a bummer because while I was there, like in Istanbul, this bag was on sale on the 24S website and it was down to like $1,200, which was ridiculous. So that's off the list. Now, while I was there, just for good measure though, the sales associate pulled out the new mini puzzle bag for me to try on, and it was an instant no because just of how short that zipper length was. And then he also pulled out another similar like sling looking bag that was a tad bit bigger than the puzzle pouch, but it lacked the character that I liked, which was the origami lines. All right, we're on to the last store, which is Hermes. And I think in total, I went to 3 different Hermes stores. I'll insert whatever pictures, videos I took, but I really wasn't shopping for anything in particular. I just wanted to see if the mini garden party was real or if it's like an urban legend. Like 3 stores, talked to 3 essays, and only one of them knew about the mini garden party. So I know it's real, it's just super elusive and shy apparently. However, I did get to try on 2 garden parties in the size 30, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it's fantastic. It's slimmer and lighter than the Birkin 30. So if you find the Birkin 30 to be too bulky or too expensive, then the Garden Party 30 is going to be an amazing alternative. Plus, you can typically find those for under retail on the pre-loved market. So this was definitely an unexpected bag that has kind of like crept into my wish list. Oh, and if you've ever had issues in the past with getting Rodeos, I think that time is over. I mean, talk about Rodeo City. They had those everywhere available for purchase in so many of the like desirable combos. Again, like perfect if you are into the bag charm trend. So there we have it. I cannot wait to keep you posted on the rest of my shopping experience, as well as what I picked up while on this trip. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I can't wait to see you back for my next video.